Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Vine Panther Presents. Today, Chris and I will get into The Chi, Season 3, Episode 5, and the top story is Keisha.
Ooh.
Keisha is alive. This is a good news, bad news story. She's alive. That's good. She's still in her neighborhood. That's good. The problem is she's being held by a man named Omari. If you watch it with closed captions, you see his name when he's talking.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. I was like, did she say his name or something? Okay.
It's funny you should bring that up because she doesn't. She doesn't say his name when he grabs her and stuff, which begs the question, how well does she know him? But he definitely knows her. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been watching, to me, like, this looks like one of those like serial stalker movies where like he's been watching the victim for a while. If you look at his room, the setup, the prison that she's in, he's done this before. Like, that thing is well put together, you know? So I'm like, she's not the first victim. So it's interesting that he thinks in his mind that he's purifying her, that he's saving her to an extent. So, and if you look around the room, there's a lot of track trophies. He has a whole bunch of track uniforms, one that she's wearing. There's a treadmill in the back. So I'm like, he is or was a track coach at a local school, maybe the school she goes to. At the beginning of the season, they reminded you that she was sleeping with the track coach.
Right.
So I'm like,
but it's not him. Yeah, it's not him.
It's not him. But
because he got his ass whooped big time, and he got scared him off.
So there's something with that. Like, if the writers are doing their job, at some point, when it's all revealed, this guy was on the track team. He watched the track team, like, and you're going to find other victims. There should be other victims at this once they dig into this guy.
Yeah.
We find out the name of the lady that was whose body was found last week. Clarissa Stokes was her name, and Kevin knew her, and it was kind of sad when he was talking to Gemma about it. That he says, at least her family knows. At least her family can move on, which I think is where he and his moms are at. Like, at this point, they really do believe Keisha's dead, and they just want her body, so they can move forward, with the situation.
Right. But yeah, his little girlfriend. But I mean, it also revealed in that scene when she said, "Did you know her?" And he said, and basically was saying, we thought it was Keisha. Essentially, what that kind of revealed was he told her about his sister. So I mean, not that it really had to do too much of the show itself, but I just found that kind of interesting. I would have kind of going with what you sometimes say. I would have loved to see that particular moment of him kind of revealing that to his his new boo. You know what I mean? So.
And that's important. And that's important because last episode he said, I don't want people feeling sorry for me. I don't want, this being out there, right? And the fact that he told like you said, he told Gemma, like, she's something to him. She's going to be around, unlike Ebony, from previous seasons. She's going to be stick around for a while. But, we got hope that Ronnie, heard Keisha scream. I was like, come on, man.
I was, all right, so when I watched that final scene right there, I was imagining you doing this and also doing this, like, because I was borderline doing that. That's why I was like, when that scream, he was like, Keisha, I was like, oh my God, he's freaking Captain America. Like, he just hears shit. Like, wow. And he's the only one that,
I was
like, fine, whatever.
You are absolutely right. I was like, you can kiss my black ass and tell me that this dude heard a random scream in the middle of a blackout, and he's like,
Batman, bro. Ronnie is Batman.
Hart, I hear Keisha.
When he was born again, man, he was able to born again. Gave him the ability to do that shit. I don't know.
The sight beyond sight. It was the Holy Spirit. So let's talk about Ronnie though. This was a redemption episode for Ronnie. He found Jesus.
Yep.
He found his
grandmother.
He found his grandmother, walking around the street in her nightgown.
Yeah.
And he got Keisha. Like, he's on his way back, to being something.
Maybe he has Keisha. He hears Keisha, but but then it might chalk it up to him just being an old, crazy, drunk, homeless man who thought he heard the voice of Keisha. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knows who else is going to be with him? And he doesn't even, he can hear it. Like, he was like, Keisha, but he doesn't know where.
No, you're right. I mean? You're right. It's gonna be difficult for him to track that down, but this will give the writers a moment to say, hey, everybody, she's still around. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still hope to find her. And again, if this movie would have been about the loss of Keisha, the predator would have been in the neighborhood. Like, he would have been at the house. Like, you would know who he is once he's revealed. So it's almost like, can we look across the episodes to see, has there been a man around, maybe at the school that, they talked to a couple times, but it wasn't a lot of attention put on them? Or is this going to be some random dude we never even heard of? Like, how well in the community is he going to be known once they finally find her? Would be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things I noticed with this episode was the answer to your question was solved about Sonny. So Sonny knew, apparently Sonny knew, and was just hoping that that your boy Emmett would actually kind of be a man enough to tell him, hey, what he's doing after hours. So it seemed like he did not. Well, he minded that he used his business after hours, but it seemed like he let it go on before he kind of confronted him. You know what I mean? To see if he's worthy enough to take on his business. You know what I mean?
No, I totally agree. And like, when you look at Emmett, like, he definitely deserved to be fired. Let's just start the conversation off right there, because even in this episode, Sonny knew, right? At the restaurant, he was like, so I heard you were leaving the restaurant at 2 a.m. And he wanted Emmett to tell the truth, and he lied. He goes to the house party in the middle of his restaurant in a blackout, and Emmett is lying to his face as there are people around, and they're cooking his food. I think that was it. I think once Sonny saw this man lie to him as he's actively using his restaurant to make money behind his back, he was like, "You got to go, bro. Like, I can't do this."
Speaking of doing all this during the blackout, let me comment on how every show, man, they always had to put a scene where, like, either there's a blackout or something. Everyone loves to party. Everyone goes out and party. I'm like, damn. When there's a blackout around my crib, man, everyone's just like, God damn, like they'll go outside because it's hot, but they ain't gonna be like, hey, block party, something. No, they ain't none of that. Nothing. It's them calling up Pepco and be like, turn this shit on.
Turn this shit back on. It's summer. The house is hot. Everything is melting. There's no way you're having a party out there.
Yeah, and I live in a neighborhood where it's easy to get shot outside. Come on, man.
Exactly.
Come on.
So let's go down this path then. How is it Emmett makes no effort to confirm that Tiffany and EJ are fine? What's happening with them, right? Like, that makes no sense. They didn't even address his family, okay? And if this was if the writers were real about this, he would have went and asked Tiffany how EJ were doing, or Tiffany would have brought EJ to Sonny's to be like, what the hell are you doing out here? You need to be helping take care of EJ. Like, that should have happened in front of Dominique. So now Dominique can see Tiffany and EJ and realize that when she fucks Emmett, and she will, like that's dealing with the family that he's with. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should have been in the show, but to act like, they don't care or they don't exist doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Emmett thought like, oh, well, she's at my mom's house and my mom's got him. So
let's talk about the mama. So Jada,
yeah.
So Jada's moving out with Tomas. So Tomas takes her to meet his family, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
this brings up memories actually watching that scene.
Why?
Like, you don't speak, just the whole, especially with someone in a different culture, and then they just ask you the infamous question in front of everyone, like, "Oh, do you speak?" And then you're just like, "No," and I'm thinking, "Fuck." And then they had that look, like
you brought another one that don't know the language.
No, just the whole like, oh, like the whole hesitation, like, oh, okay, and then that look is basically saying like, oh, I would have preferred you got a man that was of the culture and all this other shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that brought some like sore memories right now. Like, God damn. I was like, God damn you, Thomas, and your family doing that to her.
So let's talk about that, right? So I was confused how Tomas can say, I was ready to take you to meet my family, but then he wasn't ready to tell Jada that his wife Irene being dead, knowing that his family routinely compares any woman he brings home to his dead wife. Like,
yeah. You would imagine if he knew that about his family, that would have been the thing he would have brought up before. You know what I mean?
that would have been number one.
Right. But then now I'm wondering now, how long have they been dating to the point where I take that back, because I dated women where, like, okay, if you're just having like a little cookout with the family and whatnot, you don't necessarily have to be with them for a while. I mean, necessarily if you're just doing a cookout, it's not like you're going to Thanksgiving with them. I guess that's a little different. But like you said, like you were just basically saying, if they're always comparing your girl to, or one of your girls to your wife, to your deceased wife, that's something you just want to kind of bring up to the forefront so that you're not being as shocked as she was. You know what I mean?
Also, Jada should be first date questions. Are you dating anyone? Are you married? Do you have any kids? Response should have been, I was married. My wife died. That should be basic upfront information, so he's not living a double life as she was worried about, which I understand.
Yeah. She wouldn't be caught off guard, I guess. Well, I mean, the one thing I will kind of say in Jada's defense, it's been a while since she's been with a man, so she doesn't seem, she made it even clear in previous episodes that she doesn't know the right thing to ask. She expects that certain men are supposed to be a certain way. So I don't know, in her circumstance with Jada herself, who has a grown child who hasn't been with another man since Emmett's father or whatnot, I don't think she would have known to be like, hey, this man who I don't know. Like, of course he can't be with anyone, because why would he talk to me if he's with another woman? Which is actually real shit. Like, you would hope that, but Jada, it's 2020. Like, I know it's been a minute, but no, she should have known from her ex, because her ex is a piece of shit. So,
But I mean, it's not even that. And when she went to her speed dating thing, right? First words out of her mouth, she's like, I got a grown kid. I'm a grandmother. She's like, I know people are going to be judging me for my situation. I'm going to tell you up front I don't put this on Jada. I put this on Tomas. Like, I wasn't trying to say it was Jada's fault.
Oh, right.
I'm saying Tomas should have been enough to say, I know your situation. Here's my situation. So I'm pretty sure she told him. And you asked a great question. How long have they been together? It was only last week he asked her out. So I'm like,
yeah, and they're kissing and everything now. Yeah.
So
I mean, like small kids, but still.
How much time has passed? Has he met Emmett? Because I'm sure Emmett would not be happy about her dating anybody, So I would like to see how that conversation goes.
Some tells me Emmett never met him.
Yeah,
I don't know this, but I know this.
Yes,
damn well.
Emmett already said that he don't want, especially when he found out that his masseuse friend was, giving his mom happy endings. Like he was not happy about that. Speaking of happy endings. It's interesting how Jada, I'm gonna bring it together. It's interesting how Jada and Darnell had sex last season, went to the wedding this season, but like, so I guess obviously they're moving away from the idea that she was gonna get back with him. But I thought, and then how Emmett felt about walking in on his mom and his dad in bed again, and then his dad is getting a divorce, so I thought that was gonna go somewhere. But obviously the writers, they just making their own thing up as they go along.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So no, anyway, I was just like, that's just, we just gotta see. I hope Tomas and Jada work out, in the long term. But I just, I was just like, I didn't know what happened to the story with Darnell and his redemption, with her. Like, again, he's getting a divorce from his second wife. So does that mean something? And because they were talking about it at the wedding in episode 1, so I didn't know that was going to be something.
Well, do you remember what I was saying a couple episodes ago when one of the comments you made was like, why aren't they talking about how come I didn't see something on about Emmett or the storyline with what's Jake's brother's name? His older brother's name. The one with Emani.
Oh, Reg,
yeah. Like, where was Reg or whatever? And then one of the comments I made was, my response to that was like, well, it looks like with this show, what they're doing is one episode they're kind of focused on certain characters, and the next they're doing that. So, and it seems like that's what they're kind of doing here. And I say that to say, in the case of someone like Darnell, there's no time, there's no room. I don't think there's no room. Like,
No,
to
I'm
kind
not.
of,
I'm not.
you know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
saying he had to be in the episode. I'm just saying, like, is that going to come back to something? That's why
Oh,
I
I
know
see.
he can't stick every character in every episode. I'm just saying, is that going to come back to something since they kind of built on it in the beginning of the season? That's what I was referring to.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know how you're feeling about this season, but this isn't the greatest season. And again, I'm going to give him a great, because I still, and I know I say this every episode, I still give him benefit of the doubt, feeling like this is not the season they wanted before they had to fire old boy
Brandon and
yeah,
Jericho.
Brandon and his girl. So so I don't know how are you feeling about this? We're halfway through the season right now. How are you feeling about this?
No, again, as I tried to establish last week, I realized this is a whole new show at this point. Like, they're trying to reboot the whole thing and just trying to move forward to get to some storylines. So I'm okay with it. I'm on board with it. I just want to see where they're gonna go. With the characters that they have now, like Otis, slash Dota,
Right.
like his running, for mayor. I gotta acknowledge that his and his wife's sex slash political strategy meeting was interesting.
Let's just call them Ghost and Tasha. Let's Ghost and Tasha.
So
they talk shit about each other. They don't want to be together, but every once in a while, someone will seduce the other, and they're like, "Damn it!" And then they put their clothes on, like, whatever. Like, damn it, Tasha.
So it's funny. It's strange to bring that up. So I really thought that somebody was going to walk in, right? Like, either the woman or the guy that worked for them, it worked for him, and they didn't know who she was last week. Like, I thought they were going to walk in. But anyway, I mean, they're both committed to this whole mayor thing. But you bring up Ghost, and I appreciate that, because Dota once again proved that he's just another ghost. When he takes off his suit jacket and beats the shit out of this dude, I'm like, this is season 1, episode 1 of Power, and Miguel is about to die. Like, I'm like, what?
You said
I was waiting for him to put on the gloves and be like, but even with that though, so like, he beats up this dude, and I was like, why? Because the guy tells him the one thing he didn't want to hear was, when you can't be Harold Washington.
Yeah.
So I looked up Harold Washington, because I'm like, who is this dude? And I'm like, so he was the first black mayor of Chicago. He was elected in 1983, and he was the 51st mayor of Chicago. So I can see why next to Obama, I can see him being a big, role model of black people in Chicago.
Yeah.
But Dota really, he like, I can be this, I can be whoever I want. And that kind of leads me to Jake. Like, I don't understand how they want us to believe that Jake was so shooken by watching the gangster that he knows he is beat up a dude, when he spent he's been this entire series embracing the gang life of his brothers, of Dota, and saying, this is going to be my life one day. And somehow
you're right, but he saw that with his brother, but and he knew that Otis was about that life, but I don't think he ever seen Otis do that. Like, he knows that he probably did the same shit as his brother. And let's be honest, he knew you saw day one, his interaction with his brother. He's like, man, he said, get the fuck out of here, or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? He was used to his bro being this way. So no, it wasn't a surprise for him, but all of a sudden, previous episode, he's calling this dude dad. I mean, I know that was just for a show, like you said, dad or whatnot. I think in his mind, that's been kind of slightly twisted a little bit. He was thinking like, damn, maybe he can be my dad. And it maybe messed him up, thinking like, okay, this is what a dad will do. And he's like, can I go with you? Like, he's like, can I come with you, whatever? And then I was thinking, this is a bad idea. Like, this is a bad idea. I know he's trying to do the whole something. Like, I don't want to go. You're going fishing? He is not going fishing right now. He's going to put a hook in somebody, but not the way you think.
So it's funny you should bring that up. So I think Jake knew that Otis was about to get in some gangster shit. I think he knew, but he just wanted to see it. And I think so? Yeah. Again, okay. So being that late at night, he knows what Dota does. Like, he had no illusions that he does anything otherwise, right? But I think it would have been better if Dota would have beat Jake. Like, let's say once again he's at home, he don't take his shoes off like he told him to, right? And he snaps on him, right?
He just loses it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Then Jake realizes that this gangster can hurt me. Like, I'm not immune to this. Or for some sad reason he hurts Rose, because obviously they don't have the best relationship. You know what I'm saying? Minus the sex. But I'm like, maybe he hurts her. And Jake is like, this guy could hurt his wife. What is he gonna do to me?
Right,
and
right.
He runs to his brother. I think that would have made
Opposed to some stranger who just graffiti some stuff.
Yeah, I'm like,
no. You're right. You're right. I had to think about what you said, but you're right. It wasn't that strong. Now that you say that, it wasn't that strong enough for him to run to his other big brother and like literally sweating.
Who's a gangster? Like, he's running to
one gangster to another gangster.
Who he hired to go to a trap house and beat up people to find Kevin's sister. Like,
well, I don't know if he knew about the beating up part, but you know what I mean? He's like, oh, he probably just talked to them. Like, he just gave him a phone call and sent him a letter. Like, have you seen her? No? All right, sir.
Well, thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
Thank you. And
maybe that's what he thought.
And good day, sir. I'm like, I know they want that moment where Jake is like, oh, I have a conscience now, and maybe I need to be with my brother. I'm like, but that wasn't it. Like Jake, that wasn't it. That wasn't it for Jake. I would say.
Yeah. I'm wondering what else is in Emani's past that she's afraid that these social workers not going to allow all this. I don't know if it's going to be more than just the fact that. Obviously she was not born a woman, but obviously it seemed like it was way more than that. You know what I mean? She
said that, she had to kill her dad because her dad tried to kill her when he found
her.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, the record. Yeah.
But I'm like, she has to know that Trig is also a murderer. He's also a gangster. You know what I'm saying? So
ain't a record. There's no record of that. Well, what? No, you're right. He freaking came out of freaking prison. Shit. So all of a sudden she's upset, was like, I'm going to pack my bags because I'm messing you up, even though you're the felon. I was a kid, but you were a grown-ass man and went to jail. Like, shit, what the hell? What are y'all doing with the show? Damn.
So then you got to get into, once again, in this season, I'm not going to bring up old seasons. In this season, Trig and Emani robbed Dota. How is he not trying to figure out who did it and how this is all going to come back around? Clearly, he's not going to get revenge for his brother. I'm pretty sure that the writers want to move away from Reg and that thing. But if he robbed, and then for Trig to be looking outside, looking like Malcolm X, like he's worried.
No, you're like, what? Literally, like, they're, you know what? I'm glad they said the line, but I'm like, I did that on purpose. Like, literally, who the hell holds the gun like that at the window unless you are literally trying to pose like Malcolm X? I was like, that don't make no sense. Like, you hold it like this. Now, I don't know, Malcolm X maybe had like an issue in his head, and then he held it like that and the picture was taken. But I'm supposed to believe that just happened to you and you just happened to have the exact same pose as Malcolm? You know what I mean?
Nah, son.
That was kind of cool though, but still,
it was how they tried to bring it together.
Yeah,
But I was like,
if you're trying to do a symbolism, then I'm like, are you trying to say that he's supposed to be Malcolm X? I wasn't sure, because some shows sometimes they do that. Sometimes they'll throw in a little symbolism. You know what I mean? However, though, them kind of vocalizing it out loud and saying that Malcolm X rather than you figuring it out, sometimes make be like, oh no, they just threw that in there for that line to be said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's not leading the people to to freedom and equality. Like, he's just trying to get his brother.
Well, he's trying to free Keisha. He was trying to do that, and he did that through force.
Yeah. and then Emani left all those women, being abused in that house. Like, that's not going to come back. I'm pretty sure.
You don't think so? You saw how upset she was.
But again, I thought that was going to be in her past. Like, I thought she was going to say I was sex trafficked. That's why she was telling her friend, you can't trust these people. Like, you know what I'm saying? They could hurt you. They could abuse you. Like, I wanted to hear. I didn't want to hear, but it would have made more sense if she was like, it happened to me. That's why she was so worried about the women in that trap house.
I feel like I feel that's going to be revealed this season. I feel like everything kind of points towards that direction.
Okay.
Just for that you know what I mean? Like,
I hope so. I hope the writers are tying this stuff together. They're not just throwing stuff out there for no reason.
Lazy. Yeah.
But
the whole Sonny thing, like we all thought that the whole fact of like Sonny not finding out and whatnot, and You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, well, and found out he knew the whole time. Not sure how he knew. Like he walked into
The streets were talking, man.
ass at
I
1 in
mean,
the morning.
everybody knew about the cooking because everybody was raving about it. There's no way he couldn't have known. Again, they were using his supplies after a while. He had to see
Yeah,
that.
he had to see there was a shortage. He looked at the electricity bill and was like, whoa, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was too many. So again, I'm glad that they came back to that. But so then I want to get into friends. So Kevin and Papa, coming into their own as young as teenagers. Their relationship with Jim and Maisha are coming together, and then you see that classic scene of friends like, "What about Jake?" Is like, "What about us?" It's all about the women. Like, "What about us?"
Yeah. I gotta be on Jake's side with this in the sense of the way. I don't know. Kevin seems to be way too infatuated with this girl in the sense of like, yeah, you can have puppy love and whatnot, but the idea, just because she had an idea, she's not even from the same track as them. So all of a sudden, she has her ideas as far as, well, maybe this is happening, and you got two people on the other side saying, nah, that ain't it. And then all of a sudden, you're going to take her side because she's cute. Like, it just, you know what I mean? So it was funny because Jake even said, like, really, Kev? Like, really, Kev? Like, he's like, shut up. Don't tell her to shut up. And he's like, really, dude? I said the same thing. I was like, damn. Like, man. I was like, man, like, I don't know. I understand what they're trying to do for it this season, kind of make it seem like there's another life to Chicago. And you're not, not every African American that lives in the city is going to deal with the same disadvantages as everyone else, which is true. I mean, Chicago, we're always seeing the bad stuff in Chicago, but you never hear about, the prosperity that's also there as well. You know what I mean? So similar to people who don't live in the Beltway of DC, and all they can think of is just two types of people: either you live in you're a politician, or you live in the ghetto. You know what I mean? But no, it's not all like, yes, that's there, but it's not all like that. And I feel like that's what her character kind of brings. I'm assuming with the show and the Shy. I just don't like how they're going about it. Like, I mean, I'm sure we're going to see the classic scene of her father knowing who her friends are and be like, I forbid you to be with those kids. Do you think that's? I don't know. I feel like
yeah. I see it's probably going to come to that because she's never been to the South Side of Chicago. She's never been in the hood, and she thought she was okay with it until she wasn't. Until last week, she was teaching Kevin about history, about colorism, about grammar. Now he's like, it's my turn to teach you. Like, this is how you survive this kind of neighborhood. And she's like, I'm scared. Like, and she should have been. You know what I'm saying? There's gunshots going off, and she's like, are those firecrackers? He's like, no, they are not. And, but he's cool about it because he's like, this is my life. You know what I'm saying? And she still wanted to be with him after that, right? I mean, she wasn't like, I got to get up out of here. This is not what I signed up for. Like, both of them are trying to get through it. But I'm like, I understand what you're saying with Jake, but to me, I think Kevin and Papa were in positions where, like, I'm gonna defend my girl. Like, I can't, like, look, Jake has shitted on Gemma so many times, and Kevin's been like, stop it, man. Like, watch your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, he was like, I'm not gonna let you just talk crap about my girl. Like, I mean, he can't do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, so like the stuff that Papa was doing for his girl. I mean, I'm cool. I don't know. I feel like she's able to say crazy shit like some, well, I know more than you. Use it. What's the next thing that comes after that? It's like, oh, shut up. And I was like, you crossed the line by telling her to shut up after, even though she just told you, I know much more than you. Because we all know that she actually does. So that hurts even extra deep, knowing that she's this brainchild and shit.
She is.
She brings it up in front of everybody. Then the only thing you can say is shut up.
So, it's kid love. I just thought they were too old to be running around talking about ghost stories. They're probably at least 13, maybe 14.
But why I feel like they were going to find a dead body in there. I just knew they were going to find a dead body. I was like, I'm like, hey, y'all want to see a dead body? You know,
So for Jake to say, you know, Reg's friend got shot here like not too long ago without missing a beat, like he wasn't like worried about it. I totally believe they were going to find at least one dead body, which further says it doesn't make sense that he was so surprised about what happened with Dota. But you know, they ultimately, you know, the two couples ended up at Sonny's, you know, dancing, you know what I'm saying, like kissing and stuff. And I'm like, I'm happy there's some happiness in this show. Like, you know, with as dark as it was, that there's some hope of life, you know, for these kids. Like they can see that there's a future, you know. So I thought that was nice.
And man, Jesus. But then going back to Keisha and those cameras following her even when she was like using the bathroom.
She was working to escape. They wanted to show that even in her situation, she still had some type of, you know, fight for her, like for herself. Like she almost got her own self out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's hard.
That
like,
was a pretty intense scene. That was probably the most intense scene of the show that I've seen in a while. In the sense of like me being gripped in there and be like, when the power went out, and I was like, okay. At first I was like, oh, she might as well get up because there's no way she was like, that thing is like locked or whatever. But I guess it's also a wooden door and the old wooden door. So she broke through that, and I'm thinking, but you don't know what this dude is. Like, is he out? And I'm thinking, is he out? Is he somewhere or whatnot? You know, she's out of breath. She's tired. You know what? You know. And then she shouldn't have celebrated. Like when she made it on that grass, I was like, motherfucker, this ain't the time to be like, yes, ground. No, you out. No, you don't stop. I mean, now she could have clasped because she was like weak, you know. So I'll give her that. But like, you don't be celebrating just because you see a little grass, and that house of horrors is literally not more than 2 feet away from you, and nobody sees your ass, and it's dark. You guys ain't the time for you to be like, yeah, yes. No,
I mean,
not yet.
So I thought this was the most intense scene of this series. Like I was really like, what's gonna happen to her? You know, like, is she gonna get out of there? Is he gonna come in and like choke her out? Like, you know what I'm saying? I really thought we were gonna watch her get murdered. Like, I really thought.
Did you?
Because again, the Shy has been very good of saying like anybody could die in this show almost. You know what I'm saying? So I thought this would be the moment to be like, she don't make it, and like they find her body later.
I thought something worse was going to happen to her. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I really did.
Yeah.
I thought we would see a scene where you just had to turn away.
Yeah.
I thought that's what was going to happen to her, like to punish her.
And me too. I was like, what is this guy's end game? You know what I'm saying? Like, if again, he's done this before. So what is his process, right? You know what I'm saying? Does he clean them? Is he trying to prepare them for him? You know, like if that's what he's doing. And then like, what does he do with the body? You know what I'm saying? So if he's living in that neighborhood. If he's living in that neighborhood, he don't got a lot of money or resources. So I'm like, he can't, you know, he can't be going too far with these women. So I'm totally
surprised. I mean, there's only one way out, and that's the thing. And I think Keisha know, like and you see it in real life too about when these kidnapped folks is like, I mean, there's only one way to go. It's like, and it's usually like they'll keep them for several years and whatnot. They have no desire to ever free you because you free them, like you're going to tell on them and whatnot, and it's like. Next thing you know, like you find a barrel full of like ashes, and then you know what I mean. It just So I just at that moment when I saw the situation she was in, I was like, and I saw what, like you said, they were in the neighborhood. I'm like, okay, he has no intent to ever let her go, ever. Like not just like, hey, like I now feel bad for what I did, and I'm going to release you when I. No, there's only way she has to either escape herself, or he's going to eventually kill her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When he gets tired of her, or find a girl that looks more pleasant, or maybe even maybe quote unquote more sluttier, as he puts it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like you said, that was very intense. I was like, okay.
I mean, she did a great job of like putting us in her headspace of like, you know, what it's like to feel hopeless, but you're still trying to fight your way out. You know, and I was like, it was hard. It was hard.
But that beginning scene was awesome. You know, I love the transition they did that showed her getting clean, and they're like, you're unclean, put her in the water, and then immediately went to the baptism scene.
Yes.
I like that. That was an interesting symbolism of cleanliness and the idea of that. You know what I mean?
And that's what got me thinking that maybe in his mind, he is purifying her. You know, like she was dirty, and now he's trying to make her better.
Right. In his twisted little mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, it would be better if Clarissa that was murdered last week was actually his other victim, that it wasn't that white dude. Like, it would be better if they found the body, they thought, and they can't figure out, and then it's all connected. Like, that was his process. He kidnaps them. He keeps them in his basement for a while, and then eventually he takes them out to the water. Maybe that's his second baptism or some shit.
That'll be, you know what though? I don't even know if they even go that route. They might just be like, yo, just another victim in Chicago. I mean, hell, like you just saw in the news just recently, like more kids just got shot, like in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I say that to say, like, I could see they might go that route, but you know, it would make perfect sense if they'd be like, no, it just proved that just another innocent victim got gunned down in the interstices of the shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but you're right. Yeah. I don't know if you'd be that messy though. If you were kidnapped and you got cameras like that, that's messy to have a body exposed like that and not have it like
put away somewhere.
Extra level. Yeah, like put it in their lake or you know, something. You know,
you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
so,
with the clothes on, which they could find some DNA, so something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, this guy is professional. I mean, you know, sad to say, like he.
So I don't know. So like that body we saw, that was, if it was him, that.
No, it wasn't. I mean, they've already established it was that white dude. I mean, he's the one that led him to the body. I'm saying, like, if they wanted to try to make this like a serial story, like they could have not had that white dude from the pedophile rapist from last week. They could have not had that and they just, like, the cops found the body, and then it becomes like they start seeing the pattern. That's what I'm saying. That's what I meant by that. But yeah, he's so that body's already been accounted for. Sad to say. So it's just it's really about, you know, Keisha.
Hey man, Ronnie's a detective over here, man. He got that guy, and now he can hear voices from far away and whatnot. He know where to go.
He's 2 for 2. I mean, that may be his new job. Once he helps catch this guy, he'll be the local detective. And
man, that neighborhood is gonna still treat him like shit. We all know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but
all right. Is there anything else you want to add to this before we go?
No. I mean, like I said, I was happy to see. I mean, I knew that Keisha was not dead, but I was not sure if we were just see what really came out of her. I wasn't sure if she necessarily was kidnapped or if she ran away. I did find that suspicious that her phone stayed put. You know what I mean? And I didn't expect us to know, as the audience, to know what really happened to her so early with, like, how many episodes we got left?
5, I think it's 10 episodes. I think 10
yeah,
episodes.
5 more. So I didn't know we were going to know so early. I thought maybe like the episode before, like, you know, right before the finale. I figured that's when we'll find out what really happened to her, leading into hopefully her getting reunited with her family. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, thought it was a good episode. Like you said, that scene was probably one of the most intense scenes that we've seen the whole freaking series. You know, but yeah. So I enjoyed it.
All right. So we will see you guys here again next week for episode 6. What did you think of this episode? How you think Keisha's story is going to end? What's going to happen to Gemma? Is she going to stay as part of this cast? What's going to happen with Jake? You know, as Jake turned the leaf and he no longer wants to have a life of crime, so he wants to have a lesser life of crime with his brother. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, guys. Thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video, share the video. Let us know what you want us to review. If you want to join us for a review, let us know in the comments. We can work something out. You can join Chris and I for episode 6 or maybe a future episode. We always like to meet new viewers, and we will see you again.
Bye.